What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 13, episode 12. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So let's get into this episode. So we have our first scene, which is with Danielle, her mom, and her husband. And pretty much they both want the rundown of what happened in Ireland. The husband's like, you were really emotional. The mom's like, yeah, so what happened? Danielle pretty much is telling them now, everybody was coming at me. Rachel just wouldn't let go that I called her a rat. Her mom, Danielle's mom, is like, oh, she's not a ride or die. Then you have her saying, Margaret came at me about my situation, with my brother. And then I found out this information about Margaret, about this rumor about Melissa. And then the mom is like, well, you should definitely tell Melissa because you would want to know if that was happening to you. And here's my thing. Danielle was telling half truths, girl. They weren't just coming at you out of nowhere. Like, you said things. Now, I've been saying, I do think it was messed up for Rachel to run back to Margaret and tell her everything that her and Danielle were saying when they were having that conversation. Because if you're trying to build a friendship with someone, you just don't scurry away and tell on them like that. And pretty much, like I said, Rachel picked her team and so did Danielle. But it was weird because when they were having that conversation, when they were in the boutique, it seemed like they were trying to have this camaraderie. So if you're trying to have some type of camaraderie, you don't just run back and tell somebody what someone else said, especially if there was no malicious intent behind it. Because to me, what Danielle was saying was like, I do kind of believe that she got an arsenal on people. It wasn't like she was talking negatively about Margaret in the sense of like her looks or anything like that, or like her business practices. She was just like, yeah, I kind of do believe it. It seems with what I've seen talking to talking to Jennifer and Teresa that she would have one. And that's how people form their opinion. So I didn't understand the need for Rachel to run back and tell her. So I would be looking at Rachel funny too. Now, would I've called the girl a rat? No. But then I'm looking at Danielle being like, you can't be mad at her for being mad at you for you calling her a rat. Like, you called her something that is a derogatory term in y'all's like area, in y'all's culture. Why would you not think she would feel some type of way? And why would you not think she would let you know about it? Then for Danielle to be like, they was just coming at me and I was bobbing and weaving. Girl, you was getting hit on all sides because Margaret chewed you up and she spat you out and you did not know how to come back or retaliate. And the thing about it is, I don't agree with what Margaret said. And I do feel as though that it was low, but it's like, you was asking for it. So it's like you kept coming and you just didn't expect it and you weren't prepared. Next time you got to be more prepared, sis. But I do think it was low for Margaret to say that. And the reason why is because this cast has the spirit of broken families over it. You got Joe and Teresa and Melissa. You got Jackie and her sister not speaking. You then had Caroline and was it Dina not speak. They don't mess with each other. Even Jacqueline and Caroline had issues. You got Teresa, Joe, and them versus their cousins. Then you got Jennifer and her mom having their situation. Then Jennifer and the mom, with the mom not being able to deal with like her having a gay son. You like the spirit of brokenness is over this cast because you got Margaret being able to have a relationship with her ex-husband and them kids still treating her like she does not exist. So it's like for any of them to be questioning people's like or giving advice about people and how to deal with brokenness and broken families, it's like until y'all can successfully do it yourself, shut up. Because we know that Danielle's situation with her brother just didn't end because of Instagram. We know that there's more to it, but the fact that people feel the need to pry, especially Jackie, when we till this day don't know why her and her sister don't get along and what was the ultimate demise of their relationship, it's just like, shut up. Keep it to yourself. But Danielle feeling like she needs to tell Melissa about this rumor is why Danielle is going to be in this predicament that she's in. Because sis, you could have just kept that to yourself and then talked about it at the reunion. There was really no need for you to to tell her. Because at the end of the day, you're new to the clique. Melissa's gonna keep sticking with Margaret. Margaret's gonna keep sticking with Melissa. Their sides and sides were chosen, and you picked your side. So anything that you tell them is going to be looked at as like opposition. Like, sis, you're now considered an op on to them. So what's the point of you telling them this information? Just keep your mouth shut. So next, let's talk about Frank and Dolores. So we have a scene with Frank and Dolores. And y'all, I was so distracted by what Frank had on. I said, this man is not in a muscle shirt at a fine dining establishment. And I'm like looking at this place and I'm like, there's linen cloths. Like there's cloth, like napkins and like the table, what is it called? I'm blanking on what the name of it is. Tablecloth. And there's actually nice glassware. And Frank is in this muscle shirt. And I'm tickled. I am tickled because I'm like, you can put on a shirt with a collar or at least a shirt with some sleeves to have this conversation with her. I said, Frank, this is giving like sports bar energy. Like, I would be okay with you wearing this if y'all was having y'all conversation at like Buffalo Wild Wings, Applebee's, where else? Kickback Jacks, sports bars, but not at a restaurant where there's nice glassware, not plastic cups. Would you wear this? And he was red like a tomato, like he always is. Oh my God, Frank. But while they're having this conversation, we pretty much find out that Frank is having a hard time with finding, I guess, the new balance with Dolores being with Paulie. And it's just hard for him. And like, I feel for Frank, but I also am happy for Dolores. Like, it seems like this is what Dolores has always been waiting for and wanting in a mate, is somebody that wants to claim her, that wants to help her with life, that really wants to be there for her. And I feel as though she deserves that. I think we've gotten to this point where it's like people are afraid to be like, I want to be loved and I want to be with someone who respects me, who, you know, adores me, who helps me, who is really my partner in life. And I think Dolores is like, I'm not afraid to say that anymore because she found Paulie, and it seems like Paulie is that for her. And I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's like, he has my back and I have his back. And if he's not comfortable with the relationship I have with you, Frank, I'm going to have to switch gears. And Dolores even said in their sit down, she's like, this is not the end of our relationship. I just think Frank is just having a hard time figuring out how he fits in. And also he might be a little jealous about how Dolores is really taken to Paulie. You know, Frank was like, he's intimidated. And I'm like, Frank, I don't think he's intimidated. I think he's trying to make a hard line in the sand to be like, this is like a boundary. And for some people who aren't used to people setting boundaries, it's hard. Now, Frank lets us know that his mom did pass away. I don't know if he said recently or maybe a while ago. And that, you know, his mom was like the person he always called to, you know, to share good news, to share bad news. And then Dolores took the place of that. And that's hard. That's really is hard. That's hard to like lose a parent, especially one that you have a good relationship with, that you do share such important and pivotal moments with, the good ones and the bad ones. And then when they're gone, it's like you need to search to find that person to fill that hole. And I guess that was what Dolores was to Frank, as well as I think Frank does have a lot of remorse and regret with the way he ended his relationship with Dolores and how he treated her very badly, cheating on her. You know, there was abuse in their relationship that, you know, now I think he's trying to have that relationship with her, but in a different way where he knows like they'll never be what they used to be, but at least we'll have this with our family. But it's like, you gotta let her be her. And it's like, Dolores told you, I'm not going nowhere. Like, we can still have that. It just has to be different. And you know, it's hard. Change is hard for everybody. Even if you want that change to happen, it's a shift in your routine. And when you get used to something, you know, people are creatures of habit. You don't like it when it changes. But like I said, I've saw pictures of Frank and Paulie hanging out, and they seem to be at a good place. So hopefully they are doing well. All right, y'all. So the next couple of scenes we got were two family scenes with Teresa with her daughters, and then the Gorgas with them buying Antonia a car. So with Teresa and her daughters, they're trying on bridesmaids dresses. One thing you can't take away from Teresa is she made beautiful kids. Her daughters are gorgeous. Like, they all look so pretty in their dresses. We see them on FaceTime with Joe Giudice, and I guess Melania took a trip over to Italy to like stay with them for stay with him and I guess his girlfriend for a while. And it was cute. Like, Melania is a daddy's girl. And she looks like him too. So I guess she ride hard for her dad. And pretty much she Teresa gets emotional, and she's just like, I pray one day you'll be able to come back over here, because we know he got deported. And she's like, she's glad that her and Joe were able to, like, I guess, co-parent, but really it's not co-parenting. Like, you in this country, your husband, your ex-husband's in another country. She talks about how supportive Joe has been since her getting with Louis. And it was a nice scene. I didn't expect Teresa to get emotional, but Gia said, here lately she been real emotional. But it was a nice scene. It's, they've come a long way. I still don't see it for Joe Giudice, especially because of the way he was so nasty towards Teresa in the beginning of of this series. But maybe they were able to move past it, and it's best for what their kids have. So good for them. Good for them. So the Gorgas. So we watched them get Antonia her car. The way she was breaking down, I was chuckling. Like, she was so shocked that they got her a car. We find out that they're giving her the car because she got all A's, and then she's about to be 17. I thought it was really sweet. The way she was crying and breaking down, I thought it was extremely sweet that she was like so shocked. I did feel like she was being dramatic, but then I had to be like, girl, she's 16. She didn't know she was getting a car. Of course she was going to be this dramatic. But if I was her, I wouldn't have liked the car to be white. Like, 3 car colors that I wouldn't want would be black, white, and silver, because those 3 colors, you have to go get your car washed on a daily, and I'm the type of person that does not like washing their car unless I absolutely have to, and that would happen. That would definitely be happening in those 3 colors if your car is that color. But to get a little messy, y'all, people were online being like, did y'all notice how Antonia kept pushing Melissa away or stopping her when she was trying to hug her to like embrace her? And I was like, no, I didn't notice that, because I was so like, I was just laughing at her being so dramatic. But I went back and watched it, and y'all, she hit the Heisman on her mom like 3 times. And I was like, ooh. And I'm not going to read too much into it because we don't know, but I feel like maybe it's just teen angst. Like, certain people have a certain age where they just don't like being around their parents. They just find their parents completely and utterly annoying, and they just don't want to be near them. Parents too. Parents complain all the time about their kids being teenagers and how they don't want to be around them and stuff like that. So it's just like, maybe that's what it is. But I'm not going to lie. When I went back and watched the clip of that scene, it was kind of like, ooh, girl, because I know I couldn't do that to my mama. Not when I could do that to my mom, but the scene and the way my mom would have checked me in that moment and would have been like, oh, we could take this car away right here, right now. It would have been my mom's energy, not like trying to constantly hug me while I keep being like, stop and don't touch me. So we then have this scene of Melissa and Joe going in the house, cracking jokes about how dramatic Antonia was being. And Melissa then starts talking about what happened in Ireland, how she painted the mural for Teresa, how she started sobbing. And then she said after that, I guess she felt like a weight was lifted, like she let go. And she said, you know what? I'm trying to keep everything even keel so Joe and I can go to the wedding, the kids can go to the wedding, and then after that, I'm done. So pretty much, Melissa is throwing in the white flag. She's saying like, girl, I'm done. It's whatever. I don't want to mend this relationship with Teresa. I don't want to move forward. I'm over it. And I'm like, I'm fine with her being over it because it is her right to just be like, bro, I'm done. But I'm like, does your husband know that, sis? Because we've seen recent interviews with Joe where Joe is talking about you don't be done with family. You're never done with family. It's like he wants to be on this merry-go-round, but you don't. So I hope you telling him you don't. So on to the bridal shower. We have a scene of Teresa and the girls going to, well, two of her girls going to the bridal shower. Louis calls. Louis basically is like, oh, I guess they were supposed to be having like this dinner and they were inviting, he was like, we're gonna invite everybody except Melissa and Joe, right? And Teresa grabs the phone because it was on speaker and she's like, no, like, she's like, you're being filmed. We're gonna invite everybody. Like being fake. Like you don't want them there, so don't invite them. At their big ages, if I'm in my 50s and I don't want you at a party, no matter if you're a sibling or a cousin or an aunt or an uncle or any, I'm not inviting you, especially if I'm paying for it. You not coming. I don't care. And then with Melissa over here complaining about how uncomfortable she is and how she's walking on eggshells at this bridal party, then don't go. You looked utterly like a hater when Teresa walked in the door. You didn't even smile. And it's like, if you weren't going there with good intentions, then don't go. Like, I learned that in high school. You don't go places where you don't feel comfortable or wanted. Like, you don't go places where you're tolerated. You go places where you're celebrated. And it made you look stupid, Melissa. Just like it made Teresa look stupid, grabbing that phone, being like, Louis. That's why I can't do either one of them. The whole Team Teresa, Team Melissa thing, I find it to be utter bull because both of them are hypocrites at this point. In the beginning, it was easy to pick a side, but as we've continued, both of them are fools at this point. And no matter how much people are like, oh, but this side this and this side that, no, at this point, y'all are fools. Y'all are fools that love playing this clown game, and it is what it is at this point. Like, if y'all don't want to be a family, then don't be a family. Move accordingly. Stop inviting each other to things. Stop including each other's family and things. Like, if the kids don't want to be cool, they don't have to be cool. At a certain point, you just gotta let stuff go. Let it go. So she's surprised because everyone's there. Teresa has a moment. She's crying. She does this speech. She doesn't say Melissa's name as she's thanking everyone from coming. You got Teresa's bodybuilder trainer talking to Melissa saying it wasn't right. I'm like, Melissa, why would you even think your name would be mentioned? Because you don't like her and she don't like you. Y'all all just stirring the pot of bull. Then they start doing like Turkish traditions. They start doing henna. Jennifer is explaining to them the significance of the henna, having all the single women pressing on the henna. It was a nice moment. I don't know why Olivia was there. Now, the whole lingerie comment was awkward and cringy AF, but I'm not going to go too hard on Olivia because she a child. But Jennifer, she shouldn't have been there. I get the other girls were there, but she shouldn't have been there. And when I say girls, I mean like Teresa's kids, but they had a purpose of being there. The lingerie comment was awkward. It was cringe. It was so cringe, but it was nice. And it ended there. Like, it ended there after the party. Now, a few things I want to say. One, y'all, I don't see it for Louis. Something about Louis is slimy, and I hope Teresa don't get screwed over, but I feel like it's gonna happen. That man gives snake oil salesman, and he gives very shiesty teas, and I'm so mad that lady didn't get a prenup because I feel like that man gonna try to take her for everything she got, oh Lord. Girl, you got, a hard head, is it a hard head, make a soft landing? I don't know. Either way, I feel like Teresa put herself in a bad spot marrying this man. But, she want her happiness. And I want her to be happy, but find somebody else. Then I do not like the way this cast treats Bill and Jennifer's heritage. I saw a clip of the after show, and they were all, the way that they were so like about Jennifer and the Turkish traditions and stuff, and they were like, oh, we were thinking Italian traditions. Well, she's not Italian, and Jennifer was the one that did it. Whenever this cast talks about Jennifer or her like culture, it gives very much like they look down upon it, and I don't like it, and they need to stop it. They need it. Like I told y'all, I love me some Jersey, but there's a tone when they speak about Jennifer in her culture. And I've been picking up on it. And that after show clip rubbed me the wrong way because they were all talking about, like, no, we told Teresa not to put henna on because it was going to mess up. You know, it's a week away from the wedding. It was going to, you know, be too much. Like it stays on her body too long. Okay, I think Jennifer would have told her that. And then they were all talking about the dancing. You know, they were like swinging the little like scarves and doing the sounds, and they were like, yeah, I didn't understand why we were doing that. Y'all all did it, but now y'all speaking negatively about it. Okay. But yeah, y'all, that was the end of the episode. Like I said, not much really happened, but it looked like next week gonna be interesting. So remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.